All right, good afternoon. On behalf of the Emmanuel College Athletic Department, we want to thank everyone for being in attendance today. This is a special day with a fantastic group of Hall of Fame inductees. Before we get started, I'd like to ask a couple of groups to stand up and briefly be recognized. First, any past coaches or former student athletes, if you'll stand and be recognized. Any present coaches or present players, if you'll stand and be recognized. Lastly, and certainly not least, the families of the players being inducted today will stand and be recognized. All right, thank you. To qualify as a Hall of Fame member, our candidates must meet one or more of three criteria. One is outstanding athletic performance. These individuals or teams have set historical milestones in Emmanuel College athletics or have made notable and record-breaking performances. Two, support and advancement of Emmanuel College athletic programs. These are individuals who have displayed a lifetime of support, advancing and enhancing Emmanuel College athletics. And three, legacy talent that enhances Emmanuel College athletics. These are individuals who have given time and energy over the course of their lifetime to enhance the athletic programs, or former athletes who have gone on from Emmanuel College to achieve a monumental lifetime achievement in impacting the world around us. So to continue the program, I'd now like to introduce our president, Dr. Ron White.
Good afternoon. Sorry I missed the reception, but our other program ran a little long, but I'm glad to be here now. Today, we add additional inductees to the permanent display at Emmanuel's Athletic Hall of Fame. Hopefully, you've already seen that when you were here at the reception that was just out the door and down the hallway in front of the wellness area. This effort was started in 2012 by the members of the National Alumni Association, coaches, and spearheaded by Bette and Sherm Smith. And today this ceremony is being celebrated to acknowledge and honor Emmanuel's finest athletes and greatest supporters of athletics. The first Hall of Fame recipients were inducted in October of 2012 and in the opening ceremonies here at the new Shaw Athletic Center. And this was a huge induction because it was the entire first men's basketball team, our first intercollegiate program here at Emmanuel. In 2015, Emmanuel's most outstanding men's basketball player, the late Larry James, was added to this prestigious display. And in 2016, we inducted another entire team, the 1980 Lady Lions basketball team, the first team. What an elite group, and certainly represented a new era for Emmanuel College. And I just have to say that the first and only coach of the Lady Lions, Mike Vaughn, is here today. Would you give him? I'm telling you, that's saying something. How many years now, Mike? 32 years. Their pictures are displayed in that hallway that I mentioned a moment ago. I don't know if any of our current members of the Hall of Fame are here, but if you were part of that 1980 Lady Lions or the first intercollegiate basketball team, would you please stand? Are any of those here today? Okay. Well, Mike is here because he's a part of that. And you did. There we go. Today, Emmanuel has over 28 intercollegiate sports programs, including hundreds of academic All-Americans, several players of the year, 3 coaches of the year, 3 national titles, other accolades, and certainly, but not least, we actually have an Olympian that participated in the 2016 Rio Games. We appreciate the service of our athletes and all that these individuals add to the Emmanuel College culture. So if you're a current player or coach, well, actually, you've already done that, so I'll skip through that. It was in my remarks here. Our first inductee today is from the class of 1997, John Hylton. John, would you stand, please? Before I read my comments inducting you into the Lions Hall of Fame, your EC coach, Robbie Jones, will make some comments about your days at Emmanuel. So Coach Jones, would you please come? And this is not a roast, but I'm sure there'll be some interesting things said. So John, if you'll stand right here.
Good afternoon, everyone. What a privilege it is to stand here today on a very special day for the Emmanuel College baseball program. Not going to take a long time. There's a lot of stories as we have been sharing in the reception area, so I'll make this as brief as I can. But I have such honor and respect for John Hylton. He is a man of great ethics, a man of great integrity, and he's always been that and represented Emmanuel College in a tremendous way. Not only as a player, but even as a student coach after his playing days were over, and then watching him mature into fatherhood, and now has a child here playing on the college golf team. But let me tell you a little bit about John and a little bit of the story behind the story of just being a great athlete. John Hylton chose Emmanuel College to come to Emmanuel to play before we had a baseball field, before we had a bat, before we had uniforms, before we even had a dozen baseballs. John Hylton chose Emmanuel College. I remember the tryout that we had at Franklin County High School as I was asked to come and start the baseball program. They had a baseball program in the 70s and had stopped, and then I came back in 1992. I was asked, approached by Emmanuel to come back and start the baseball program again, and it was a lifelong dream for me. But in that tryout, I remember John and being a part of that, and as we kind of talked and joked a little bit, John left that tryout thinking he did not have a chance to make the team. What he didn't know was I was still recruiting and things, and one of the greatest decisions I made was to make that phone call, pick it up, and invite John Milton to be a part of that very first team. Had some tremendous growing experiences through the first 4 years of his play here. That first team did some amazing things. They really did not think that we would be very good, but in fact we were invited to play at North Florida's tournament to be the kid that they could beat up on, and we walked away with the championship. And so that was kind of and so it was just a tremendous opportunity to watch John Hylton grow as a player, grow as a young man, and today to stand here with him being inducted to the Hall of Fame. The very first baseball player to be inducted into the Emmanuel College Hall of Fame. Could not be represented anymore than to have John Hylton be that person, because he is that quality of a Hall of Famer in my heart and my mind. Let me tell you a couple of other things and I'll get out of the way and let President White finish his remarks. John was a part of the team that won the very first postseason. We started the baseball program as a junior college. We played the first 2 years as a junior college, and then we moved to the NAI. And now I look at the NCAA Division II, and I commend Emmanuel College for such a great jump and really a prestigious move. But we made that move from junior college, and so we were invited to play in NAI sub-regional in Florida, in Pensacola, and we got a chance to compete and won our very first postseason NAI tournament. And that was a tremendous accomplishment for a program only 3 years old. And then, and John was a big part of that, and I remember a play. And we've been joking about how we can remember. We can't remember to take out the trash, but we can remember plays that we had many years ago. But I remember playing Limestone, and we had a 1-1 lead, and they had the bases loaded with one out. And John was a catcher, he was our catcher, and we turned a 1-2-3 double play to get over that, to win that game, that postseason game. And if you don't know what 1-2-3 is, that means pitcher to catcher to first base. All right? So that's what that means. And then as a senior, I had one more dream for this class that started the program with us, and that was to make it to the National Christian College World Series. And as a senior, we beat Anderson College and Anderson University to win, and John was a big part of that for us to win our spot to go to the very first National Christian College World Series. So I stand here today as proud as any person could ever be to commend John Hylton and thank him for his 4 years of playing for us, and also just for the type of person he is. You're really a Hall of Fame member. Thank you, John. And congratulations.
John Hylton's baseball career at Emmanuel brought him recognition both on and off the field. He was nominated as an honorable mention NCCAA player in 1995, made the NCCAA All-Tournament team in 96 by helping the Lions make a competitive appearance all the way to the third round of the World Series National Tournament. Emmanuel College is truly grateful for John's leadership, example athletically and academically, through nationally recognized honors in the Academic Professionals Club, Students and Free Enterprise. Excuse me. John is a community leader, example to his family, and a model alumnus as an ambassador of Emmanuel College athletics. John's baseball career at Emmanuel brought him recognition both on and off the field. He was nominated as an honorable mention NCCAA player in 95, and I think I already said this, so it's repeated in my program. Sorry about that. Emmanuel College is grateful for you and for your example of Christian character and citizenship in our community. You and your family serve our local area well. You are respected as a distinguished businessman throughout North Georgia. Your work ethic, discipline, passion, and desire to effect change are evident to all. See, we have extra pages. You have made Emmanuel College proud, and today we acknowledge your accomplishment and honor you by inducting you into the Emmanuel Lions Hall of Fame. Athletic Director Nate Mormon will present this medallion to you and reveal this plaque that will be placed on the Hall of Fame wall in the front lobby of the Shaw Athletic Center. Congratulations, John. Our second inductee today is a class of 2009 member, Heather Vaughn Hill. Heather, would you please come stand in the spotlight right here? And before I read comments inducting you into the Lions Hall of Fame, your DC coach, Rick Sanders, will make some comments about your days at Emmanuel College. And again, Coach, it's not a roast, but have fun.
I've been waiting 2 years. I've known this young woman here for the better part of 15 years. And I'm not going to talk about her individual accomplishments at Emmanuel because President White will do that. What I am going to tell you is how I saw Heather change from the girl I knew at 15 to the woman she has become now and as a player. When Heather came to Emmanuel, she was, I like to call softball crazy. She was driven, she was passionate. Softball was pretty much her life. I've never seen anyone that loved to practice more than Heather Vaughn. She would hit 500 balls a day off tees, take 9 balls. I mean, she would practice 4 hours a day. And some of her teammates can attest to that. Because we need to practice 4 hours. She had a passion to play the game. A passion for softball. As a teammate, she was a great teammate. And a lot of the players who play with her here today, they'll tell you how much fun she was in the field. She was very competitive, but she was very playful too. Tiffany Creason's not here, but I can attest as a coach, when we would do bed check, it would be WWE between Heather and Tiffany as to who would wrestle. I believe the girls do horseplay too, and Heather was good at that. As a player, she came up with a saying, "Them lions are crazy." And we actually had a t-shirt made of that. And it was your thing. We had a bunch of lions acting crazy. And it wasn't the fact they were wild or anything. They just were crazy and liked to have fun playing softball and have fun at life. As a person, Heather was very helpful, very giving, would always be a friend to somebody. She has a heart as big as gold, besides a tough exterior on the field. She's very nice. And she'll also talk your head off once you get to know her, but she's also very shy, as you can tell. She'll tell me, "I'll say anything." As a student, Heather came to Emmanuel again. She was focused on softball. And school was kind of, I hate to say secondary, but it kind of was. And I saw her progress over her 3.5 years at Emmanuel to become a really good student, graduated with above a 3.0 GPA, and she was devoted. And I think some of that is being around her teammates, because they were devoted students. That rubbed off on her. Her softball maybe made them better, but they made her a better student. I'll never forget, after the banquet her senior year, she just won Player of the Year award, and all these other awards. Of course, all of our other players have garnered a lot of academic awards and player awards. And as we were doing bed check, she's sitting there at her table in her hotel room studying. And this is Friday night, because the Thursday night before the tournament starts on Saturday, Friday. And she's sitting there studying, and I said, "Well, how do you feel about all this and all this hardware over here?" She said, "Coach," she said, "I feel kind of bad because I really would have liked to go on." Which that showed me as a coach that she had maturity. And of all those accolades you got, that was the one thing that's always stuck with me, is like she wanted that academic award, and she worked for it and graduated with that 3.0 degree. As an assistant coach, I had the opportunity after she finished her eligibility, she got to come back and coach me for 2 years. And those were 2 of the most fun years, although we missed our teammates up at the top. Those were 2 of the most fun years I've had with an assistant coach, because I tell you, she was hilarious, she was driven, she worked hard, but she'd also keep it on the lighter side. Some of your coaches you coached against had some messages for you. And Jason Bryant coached you really hard. "I am so glad I'm coaching you, because you drove me crazy. We never could get you out. I was so glad when you graduated. It made it so much easier for me. But congratulations. I love you. You're a great player. You're a better person." Coach Al Thomas, who is now at West Jordan, you're the best hitter I ever saw. Coach Emily Russell from Lee. Heather, you're a fine person and even a fine ball player. I hate it when you lose. And Coach Wynn from Fulton, NAI legend, future Hall of Famer himself at NAI. Heather, you're a great person. I've known you since you were 15. Thank you so much for letting me coach you, and I enjoyed our competitions together. So she has the respect of her former coaches that competed against her. The last thing I want to talk about, Heather, is her relationship with God. Again, she got to Emmanuel. She's had good parents, good raising, but she was focused on other things. And I saw her relationship with Christ and God continue to grow as she was a student, especially after she graduated. And her passion became more family, God-oriented, things like that. It wasn't all about softball or school. It was like, hey, I need to get my life right with God. And I think Emmanuel rubbed off. I really do. And that's one of the great things about Emmanuel is maybe you don't know that when you're here. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but boy, it really does the job of making you think about things. And so I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of the mom you become, the person you are. And I know we had a great reunion with your teammates. And I'll just say this about our teams. They were some of the greatest young ladies to coach ever. She was a big part of it, but she'll tell you, I will share one story. When she called me, she said, "Coach, I've been elected Hall of Fame, and this, that, and how do I want everybody to come. I don't want to feel like I'm bragging. Like, Heather, your teammates would bust to death to get there. They love you. And they understand you're a special player. And you were a special group too. But congratulations. We love you. Good job.
Heather's softball career at Emmanuel brought her recognition both on and off the field. She was named NCCAA First Team All-American in 2007 and 2008, named Player of the Year by the NAIA in 2008 and named to the NAIA All-American First Team in 2008. Her 2008 accomplishments include NAIA first in home runs with 19, NAIA third highest batting average in 2008 with 77 hits, just to name a few of the things. Heather is an outstanding individual, both on and off the field, by the work ethic, discipline, passion, and desire to effect change that she shows. Emmanuel College is proud of your accomplishments, and it is with honor today that we induct you into the Emmanuel College Lions Hall of Fame. The athletic director, Nate Mormon, will present this medallion to you and reveal the plaque that will be placed on the Hall of Fame wall in front of the lobby in the Shaw Athletic Center. Heather, congratulations. Our third inductee is the class of '68, James Rix. James, would you come stand over here beside me? And before his coach comes, this one's real special, folks. James and I were classmates at Emmanuel College. Man, we were both old. But we were classmates. I was a sophomore, and James was a freshman in that year that he came in 1968. Frank is here today too. Frank was also a classmate. Frank, stand. Teammate, and a classmate, and roommate for James. So this was real special to see a guy from my era that I remember was just about the best basketball player I had ever seen in my life. I've never seen a guy as fast as James Rix. He was all over that court, and it was just amazing to watch him play. And he really, the guys that year when Coach Hylton showed up with a better team that he had recruited, it was an amazing thing that it did. Now, also, I got to say for Coach, come on, Coach, because you're going to say a few things, but man, this is Coach with a capital C, okay? Because he was the only coach at Emmanuel College in 1967 and 8. The only coach. He coached the basketball team, coached intramurals, he taught PE. So if you were a student here at Emmanuel during that era, he was your coach because he was the only one. And what a great job, Coach, he did. So come and speak on James' behalf, and we may actually do a little roasting here in a minute.
I prepared my speech for thinking there'd be some students here, so some of these things may not fit, but anyway, I'm Lloyd Turlington, as he said, and this year marked the 50th year that I joined the Emmanuel staff and became the basketball coach at Emmanuel. I was a Lions coach from 1967 through 1972. Students in this year's Golden Grad reunion class were enrolled in my PE classes during that year. Well, actually, I had to redo that. That's the intramurals, because they had another coach, teacher for the PE classes. When Brian James called me a few weeks ago and asked me to participate in this prestigious event and share special memories about James Rix, I was elated. When he explained he wanted me to limit my comments to 3 minutes, I became concerned. It was not about what I was going to say, but what I was going would leave unsaid. It is impossible for me to convey my feelings, appreciation, and thoughts about this extraordinary man in my allotted time. So I may go over that. But I see I wasn't the first one to do this, so it's okay. You are probably curious about the circumstances that led James Rix to Emmanuel. As a result of a meeting consisting of selected Emmanuel staff and alumni in December 1967, Emmanuel made the audacious decision to offer athletic scholarships and to integrate our campus and church for the first time. Until that time, Emmanuel did not offer any other scholarships of any kind. I was aware that many proud alumni were excited about the potential competitiveness of their basketball team. During those days, basketball was the only intercollegiate sport, as Dr. White said, and teams had experienced many difficult seasons in its short history. Many were excited that Emmanuel basketball was heading in a new direction. Even though Emmanuel granted my department athletic scholarships, there was no money in my recruiting budgets. So I solicited alumni who possessed the ability to evaluate talent and select skilled athletes with high moral character and Christian values. This is how I met Stan Oliver. In our initial conversation, Stan said, "I know the perfect recruit for your first scholarship athlete. His name is James Rix. If he signs with us, he will also be the first African American to reside in the dorm at Emmanuel." So this is history. I arranged a recruiting trip to Memphis to meet Stan and James. In those days, Memphis was inundated with segregated restaurants. But Stan eventually found a dining establishment that accepted integrated customers. James, I know you remember the stares and glares we endured from the customers in that restaurant. I was prepared to sign James a scholarship that day, but I had not seen him work out. Stan and I talked with 2 other recruits who were willing to visit Emmanuel for tryouts. After establishing a date for a visit, Stan volunteered to drive the 3 prospects to Emmanuel. All 3 kids were highly skilled, but I had reservations about the 2 inner-city black guys traveling with James. They were street kids, and they were coming to a place that had no streets. Stan and his passionate arrived on campus in a late February day around 11:30 at night, and we started our tryouts at midnight. To my surprise, Mr. Henson and Miss Ferguson, some of you have been here long enough to know who they are, waived the 10 p.m. dorm curfew so the kids could observe the workouts. The students were treated to an extraordinary, outstanding display of basketball talent. The students were very gracious, and they made my recruits feel welcome. I might add here, this is the first time that any of them that were exposed to different races. They were all growing up at that period of time in a segregated society. The next day, I offered all 3 of my Memphis kids scholarships, but James was the only one who accepted. So in late February 1968, James Rix became the first African-American athlete to enroll at Emmanuel. James, can you believe that was 50 years ago? James' first year as a basketball player and student was very atypical. I learned just before the first game that James was ineligible to play in the fall quarter due to a transfer rule. However, he remained in school and practiced with the team. He became eligible to winter quarter and contributed to my team's success down the stretch. James was a team leader in steals and assists, and at season's end, he was the 3rd leading scorer in the conference. In the 1969 conference tournament, James set a tournament record in assists, and the coaches selected him to the first team all-tournament team. At the end of the 1968-69 basketball season, all of James' African-American teammates returned home for various reasons. He's the only one who remained behind. James encountered a visit from the KKK in the middle of the spring quarter. Being the only black student on campus, everyone at Emmanuel knew the Klan was targeting James. As I walked down the hall in Wells Hall to accompany James in his room, I was approached by 2 husky sophomores armed with baseball. Worry about Rix. If they come in this building, they will not get past us. On another occasion, this is more comical. That was not comical. little levity here. On another occasion during that quarter, I met James in the when I approached his table. The girls were laughing hysterically. I asked one of the girls, "What is so amusing?" She answered, "James received demerits for skipping church last night." I looked at James. "James, this is serious." The second girl responded, still laughing. James said, "How did Mr. Henson know I wasn't there?" I'm going to find out who turned me in. Okay, there are many stories I can disclose about James, but time restraints limit me. James accompanied me first as an African American, and first to enroll in the Emmanuel, first to attend an athletic scholarship, first to umpire at SEC. But today, James is accompanied by two of his teammates who are here to share this special occasion. They also accomplished first at Emmanuel. Phil, can you stand, Phil? James' brother was the first African American to graduate from Emmanuel. Teammate Mark Austin was the first African American to complete 2 successive seasons at Emmanuel. I wanted you to stand together so you can see the difference in the height. Because this next statement, you have to figure out who was a good rebounder. Okay. Incidentally, Frank set a record, which I think still stands. I'll be corrected if it's not. In his last home game in a Lions uniform in an old gym over there, with 30 points and 32 rebounds. All right. As I look into the audience, I am reminded of a quote by Boyd Parker, a Mormon religious leader. Young people speak about the future because they have no past, and old people speak of the past because they have no future. The older alumni here today are revisiting Emmanuel to relive the most precious days of their lives with old friends they met while attending this great institution. Emmanuel students and the other young people in attendance are making memories and forming special friendships, and no matter what your future holds, you will no doubt look back at your days at Emmanuel with fond memories. In closing, I am cognizant of the diversity among the students who are now enrolled in this school and the number of students on scholarship. If you are a member of a minority, if you are receiving financial aid to further your education, you should personally thank James Rix, the man that started it all. Congratulations, James Rix, for your induction into the Emmanuel Hall of Fame.
I know this is tough for James because the only limelight he ever saw was on the basketball court. And that he did just out of his natural sheer ability and talent. But I know this is tough on you, James, but hang in there, this will be over here before you know it. As you've already heard so many things, so many firsts that James accomplished here, I just want to add a personal reflection. I can't think of a guy who fit in better on a campus where you would think he would not fit in. I can't remember. I lived in Wellens Hall. David, we lived in Wellens Hall. And I can't recall anybody throwing a racial slur, anybody saying he shouldn't be here. All I saw was friendship and a recognition that these guys had a place here. not just to play ball, but to get an education and become our friends. And they came from different backgrounds and different cultures. But I believe we were friends by the time we were here only a few weeks. And so my personal reflection is it was a great day at Emmanuel College. And I want to throw another shout out. We talked about Frank and James being here, but there was also James Boswell and Gene Evans who were with them at the same time. So there are 4 African Americans who came at the same time. But again, James has the distinction to be the first one recruited and the first one to agree to come to a place with no streets and live in Wellens Hall, of all places. His teammates selected him as co-captain of the 1968-69 team. He finished the season as the 3rd leading scorer in the SCAC conference with an 18.6 average. Because of his performance in the conference tournament, the coaches selected James to the All-SCAC tournament first team. James set a tournament record with 34 assists. His education was interrupted by a 2-year leave to serve our country in the United States Army, including 12 months in Vietnam. James, thank you for your service. So he returned to Emmanuel College, and this is the interesting thing, is that he's actually was with a couple of different classes because he had that period of time where he was gone and came back. And that gave him an opportunity to play with Phil. And so his brother comes later, younger, but they're here together because of his service in the Army, and they got to play together. What a joy that must have been, I guess, except for when they got at each other's throats. 50 years later, James's grandson, Clinton, would you stand? Enrolled in Emmanuel. And is a member of the Emmanuel College basketball team. How about that? Isn't that something? I'll tell you, that is just an incredible thing. Emmanuel College is truly grateful for you and the example you've become in the community with your family and as an alumnus of Emmanuel College. Your work ethic, discipline, passion, courage, and desire to effect change is evident, and your resume proves it. You have made Emmanuel College proud, and today we acknowledge your accomplishments and honor you by inducting you into the Emmanuel Lions Hall of Fame. Now, one other thing, and I meant to talk to you about this, James, but I'm sorry I didn't have a chance. It could have been last night. But not only that, and it's his decision to make, but the Emmanuel College Board of Trustees at our last meeting elected James to the Emmanuel College Board of Trustees. He just told me I agree. Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate it. Now, Athletic Director Nate Mormon will present this medallion to you and reveal the plaque that will be placed in the Hall of Fame in the lobby of the Shaw Athletic Center. Got it?
Do I get the 3 minutes that the other 2 people didn't take? President White, fellow classmates, teammates, friends of Emmanuel College. Wow, it's supposed to be a big one. Thanks for taking time today to come and be with me for one of the most joyous moments of my life. I will share with you what Emmanuel College has done for me and how it has affected my life going forward. In 1968, a new chapter began in my life.
The midnight visit to the campus was one that I never thought would ever happen. Didn't know what to expect. But it remained an experience that I still remember like it was yesterday. As Coach said, the dorms emptied, and nobody knew who we were, and they sure didn't know who to play basketball. The two guys that came with me, one was 6'9", and the other was 6'5", and I was the little guy. For the next 2 hours, we played 3-on-3 against 3 of the current players that were already in school here. 2 hours later, we did not lose a game. Wow. But I want to say something about the 3 guys that we played against. Mitch Coleman, Jerry Elkins, and the lady Ed Baldwin. We wrapped it up. I saw Ed talking to Coach Turpin. And he told Coach, if you can get those guys to come, I'll give them my starting spot on the team so that we'll be better. I knew right then was Emmanuel where I needed to be. Because those 3 guys had been starters the year before. Jerry Elkins was the point guard. James Rix was the point guard. One of us had to sit. Jerry ended up not being the starting point guard. James Rix did. Coach Jordan was smarter than both of us because he made both of us co-captains. So there was no, you're better than me, we're both co-captains. And I want those guys to know that I really appreciate the sacrifices they made to help our team be a better team. Frank Arthur happened to play the same position that Ed Baldwin played. Ed couldn't jump over that line, and Frank could jump up and touch the top of the square. So there was no comparison about who was going to play. But those guys were really true friends of ours, and they made my stay here a very pleasurable and memorable stay. After my freshman year, actually, I was here my freshman year because I had made a mistake in life. Coming out of Woodstock High School, I signed an athletic scholarship to go to Christian Rose College in Memphis. Being a country boy who mom would wake me every morning, had the breakfast ready, had my lunch ready to go to school, go play basketball after practice, after school, come home, start the routine all again. When I got to Christian Brothers, there was no mom there. I had to figure it out on my own. That first semester, I did not do well academically. Not because I couldn't. I just wasn't prepared for college at that level. So along came a gentleman who had recruited a kid off of my high school team the year before to be on the first Oral Roberts University team. Stan Oliver. Stan, I owe you forever. Like most young guys, I probably never told you how much we appreciate what you did for us. But had I not met Stan and his bodyguard Don, I don't know if we would have made it here that night. But Stan Oliver was a businessman in the city of Memphis, and he knew who the players were. And for my mom and dad to trust me with Stan Oliver, that's a tribute within itself, because we didn't go anywhere. I'd never been out of the city of Memphis. Stan took me on my first trip outside of the state to Emmanuel. And I didn't know they didn't have roads at Franklin Springs, but I mean, it's a tough ride. But my parents trusted Stan, and once they met Coach, the end of the story was, you're going to Emmanuel. And repay Stan for what he's done for us. Many other young kids will come to Emmanuel that he recommended from the city of Memphis. At one time, we had 4 kids on my high school team playing here at Emmanuel College. And we probably had at least 7 or 8 kids come out of the city of Memphis that ended up here. And it was all because of the direction and the influence of Stan Oliver. Mr. Oliver, we love you, we appreciate you. And Geraldine's sitting back in Memphis, wishing she was here. But she'll never forget Stan. When I talk about Emmanuel, she always wants to know, how is Stan? Stan, Mrs. Rix really appreciate what you did for her sons. Emmanuel College offered me the opportunity to learn how to grow. I was a young boy when I got here, 17 years old. Never been away from home. I had to grow up in a hurry. So there were many weekends that I was the only guy left on campus. Young men and young women were either going back to North Carolina, South Carolina for the weekend. Some were actually even going to Athens on dates. Well, I had to stay here. And I thank Dr. Hartsfield because he knew every time I was being alone on campus, he would come over and we'd play one-on-one. And I know he could have been doing a lot of other things, but he knew that I was here alone. Again, somebody who was much smarter than me. And he would stay, play with me for a couple hours. I didn't let him win a couple of games, so he stayed. But I really, thinking back on my career, those were things that were very special to me. And I really appreciate that. On the academic side, there were many teachers here who were instrumental in helping me become who I am today. But Miss Decorah Adams, who was my freshman English teacher, she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. She appreciated my grammar, and she appreciated the fact that I had good writing skills. And she took me under her wing and really mentored me to where when I got out into corporate America, I was ready for the challenge. She would take me up to Royston Elementary, and I would get to mentor some of the young kids. And I would read to those kids. And to her, that was like the greatest thing that could happen. And I just really appreciate her taking the time to work with me, to help carry me to where I was able to go. And I had many good teachers. Mr. Herndon knew I struggled in math. We'd be on the road, and he would bring Keith and his other kids with him, and he would get me out to the corner sometime and just work with me on math, stuff that in my high school I wasn't exposed to. So those are the kind of memories I have with Emmanuel College and the people who have been a big plus in my life. President White did not call for me, so. Last spring, I got a call from Greg Morris. And Greg invited me to be here for a special presentation for Coach Jim Gainey. I didn't play for Coach Gainey, Phil did, but I was here a lot during the time that Phil was here, and Coach Gainey became a friend of mine. And when Greg asked me to be here, I didn't hesitate. And this is the first time I've been back to Emmanuel in a long time. I saw the positive changes, and we'd played in an arena like this, we'd never gone undefeated because we had a talent. But the campus itself, the diversity of the student body, we went from men's basketball to 29 sports here at Emmanuel. All great things. And I was proud to be a part of Emmanuel College as my family. But I noticed there was something missing. And that was the junior college era. Those guys like Mike Vaughn, and those of you who are older, like Dr. White and myself, men's basketball is all we had. And I wanted the young people who are here today to know that there was a lot of history in the athletic program at Emmanuel College. So I got with Brian James and Nate, the athletic director. I brought in Greg, I brought in Rick Hay, pastor, we used to call Steve, and we formed a board. And I wanted to give back to Emmanuel College because you've been good to me. We formed a board and we formed a scholarship foundation. It's called the James Rix Scholarship Foundation. It's brand new. We're trying to get this thing off the ground, and we need your blessings, your prayers, and your dollars. But it's a great tribute to the junior college era at Emmanuel. Last year, Coach Rosine allowed me to speak to his team before the game, and you can see on the eyes of those young men, they had no idea what had happened at Emmanuel in the past. After they won that game, some of them came up to me and thanked me for being there and telling them about the history of Emmanuel College athletics. History is an important tool as we go forward. When you leave here today, I hope that you look out on that wall, and it's going to be called the Ball of Recognition for junior college athletes, men and women. And we're trying to get the name, email address of every player who played here from 1959 to 1990, but 1991. But we need your help in helping us find those players, cheerleaders, managers, support people, because the Charles Rix Foundation is going to be one of the more viable foundations as a part of Emmanuel College history. It's not about the money. It's about the opportunity that we got. It's not an athletic scholarship. It's a scholarship for any student who wants to attend Emmanuel College that meets the criteria for the scholarship. And we're off to a good start. I think they said charity starts at home. The first recipient of our scholarship happened to be Christian Clinton, my grandson. So he's got us some high shoes and some boots to fill, and we put the pressure on him right off the bat. So we're proud to have Christian as our first recipient, and there are a lot of things that we're coming down the pipe. Before I leave, I have to say that part of my history, Emmanuel College training was when Coach spoke about the missing church that night. It's true. But the administration stepped up and allowed me to attend church on Sunday mornings in the community. Had to be back by 5. Couldn't miss night service. But because they understood that from a social standpoint, I had no life. Not that I knew anything about it anyway, but at least they were considerate enough to think that I needed to see some other people from the community. So we had another young African-American student, James Rix, who had come. He was a local guy. He agreed to take us out to church on Sunday mornings. And today I have with me members of 2 different congregations from the Washington community. Dr. Diane Merritt, who's from Harmony Grove Baptist Church. Her mom makes the best sweet potato pie in America. Dr. Merritt and her congregation opened their doors for us, and it was a good place for us to visit. The other church that we visited was called Royston Grove Baptist Church, and we have Mr. Joe Tate and one of his friends here. Raise your hand, Mr. Tate. Raise that stick. So, in 1968, Emmanuel was doing a lot of things that a lot of people weren't doing. And to allow us to go and visit in the community, to go to church, that helped make the rest of the week a whole lot easier for us because we were able to converse with people, and we learned a lot about this area. And so I'm very proud to have Dr. Merritt, Mr. Tate, and one of his friends with us today. Mr. Tate is even put his finger on my neck, and I'll be back here next month to speak at Royston Grove Baptist Church. So I don't know what I'm going to say, Mr. Tate, but I'll be there. Dr. White, not only are you a good leader, you are also one that I consider a good friend. And I'm very happy and proud to be a part of the Emmanuel College family. The slogan on top of the banner out there is once alive, always alive. And my last comments are all you guys know this really well. Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Thanks, God.
Wow, remarkable. So, James has already mentioned about the Hylton Rix Scholarship Program, and we're very appreciative for what these guys have done. Coach Hylton, James Rix, Greg Morris, Rick Howard, thank you guys so much for what you're doing. We do want that to be successful, and so, again, some of you do need to think about making a donation or a contribution to that, and Brian James will be happy to talk to you about that, even if you want to write a check and leave it today. There's no better time than the present, right, guys? To make sure that we make this scholarship program a great success. Now, we also want to congratulate Christian as the first recipient. How fitting is that, and how great is that he receives that, and in honor of his grandfather, and really all that great history that you were referring to. He's an incoming freshman this year at Emmanuel. Comes from Port Allen, Louisiana, plans to major in sports management. Currently plays point guard, it's a familiar place, for the Lions. So we're happy to make this first award of the Hylton Rix Scholarship to Christian in the amount of $1,000. So let's talk about congratulations. If you want to say anything, if you do. You want to say anything? No, he's just smiling. I don't think so. Okay. Oh, great. Well, this concludes our program, or at least my part of the program, so Nate's going to come back and finish it.
If we can, let's just give one more round of applause for our new class. We thank you all for attending today and for your continued support of our athletic program. If you can, please take time to congratulate our new Hall of Fame members. Tour this facility if you haven't got to see it. We also have a men's soccer game going on right now against the top-rated team in our conference, so it's a big game. But we thank you all for coming. Hope you enjoy the rest of the afternoon.